guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mimi and I'm so happy that you're here. Today I'm going to do a very quick declutter. I'm currently going through a series on my channel right now where I'm going through all of the makeup that I'm going to be using for the year of 2024. And as I'm going through all of my makeup, I'm finding that there's just some items that I just either one, don't reach for anymore, two, I'm like forcing myself to keep them. So I just decided to really just nip it in the bud and just get rid of a few items. So I separated everything I'm going to get rid of and just make a really quick video of all of the items that I am decluttering. So let's just dive right in and get started. So these are basically a mix of different categories of makeup. As I was going through everything, I was just pulling things out. I'm like, I'm forcing myself to keep this. So I just really wanted to narrow it down and just keep items that I really want to use, because I feel like if I'm holding on to items that I don't want to use, I find that when it comes to doing my makeup, it's a little bit harder. I don't know if anybody else deals with that. You know, like you're like, oh, I never use this bronzer. I'm going to use it because I never do. And then you skip over the ones that you actually want to. Anyway, that's a tangent. So I am just going to dive in and pull things out. So up first, I have two Becca highlighters I am getting rid of. The reason I'm actually getting rid of these is one, I just don't wear this type of highlight anymore. And then two, these are so old that honestly, they're just expired. They just need to be tossed at this point. So first one is this little mini Becca. This one is in the shade Opal. And as you can see, it's very well loved. I loved this highlighter at one point. I used it all the time. It's a beautiful shade. That's what it looks like swatched. It's a beautiful highlighter, but I just don't use highlighters like this anymore. So for that reason, I am going to toss this. I'm not even going to give it to friends and family because it's just so old. It's time to go. Another one that is just a Becca staple is the Champagne Pop shade, the one that they did with Jaclyn Hill. As you can see, I didn't really even use this as much. This is a beautiful shade. Looks like that, and here it is swatched. This is a beautiful shade, but I just don't wear highlighters like this. This one is just a little, oh, actually, whoa, I didn't even realize that. Very chunky. I fixed it. But I just don't use highlighters like this anymore. This is just a little too bright, a little too beaming, and I just like a more natural hint of highlight. So for that reason, also just because it's so old, as you can see how chalky that actually was. It's just old. It's time to go. I'm actually going to get rid of one other highlight. I'm not tossing this though. I'm putting this away and saving it. This is the MAC Selena in the shade La Leyenda. First off, I am the absolute biggest Selena fan, so I will never ever throw this away. The reason I'm getting rid of it is just because I don't wear highlights like this. This is the inside, just beautiful. And then this is a beautiful highlighter. Look at that. I did use this a couple of times, but I just don't wear highlighters like this. So like, I'll swatch it for you guys. It is really pretty. And it's really not that bright or anything. You can actually blend this out to be very sheer. I honestly just don't really wear highlight in general anymore, but just like the other ones, I just don't wear highlighters like this. So for that reason, I'm not tossing this by any means, but I am going to be just moving this to where I have all of the other MAC Selena stuff that I've held onto for collection purposes. So I'm gonna move this to that. I'm going to get rid of three face powders. This one is the RCA powder. I love this powder. The only reason I'm getting rid of this, honestly, is just because this one is really old and I think that it is very much expired at this point. It still works great. No problems with it at all. I actually will be repurchasing this because this is a beautiful powder and you get a lot for the price. It's so cheap. This is a different packaging for it though. It comes in a big tube and I just bought these like shaker powder packages on Amazon and I just transferred it in here. But because it's just so old, I'm gonna toss this. I'm not gonna donate it and I'm going to repurchase. One item that I am going to be just also tossing because of age is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Powder Under Eye and Face. I actually do really like this powder. The only thing is this has a horrible scent to it. And I don't know what it is about this scent. I don't know if I'm the only one that has this problem. I've never heard anybody say it, but I personally just have a really hard time with this powder in particular to use it just because I don't like the scent, but it is a beautiful powder. Like it actually really works and it does a really nice job. But because of the scent, I tend to not reach for it very often. And plus, like I said, this is just really old. And the scent isn't because of age, because it actually smelled that way from the moment I bought it. So I know that's not it, but it's just so old and I have other powders that I reach for. So I'm just gonna move on. And then one last face powder. This one is the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin. And this one's in the shade Y305. And this one, the reason I'm getting rid of it, there's still a lot of powder left. I have used this quite a bit. The reason I'm getting rid of this is just because it is mattifying and I am very dry skin. When I purchased this, it was the only one that they had, and then they ended up releasing the one that's in like a beige color. I want to say that's the dewy one. I do not have that one, but I am going to pick it up because I do really like this formula, but I am so dry that mattifying things just don't work well for me. So for that reason, I'm just going to pass this along to a family member who I know will use it because I do not. I'm going to get rid of these two lip glosses just because I never reach for them. This one is a Tiny Bite Beauty lip gloss in the shade Sugar Buns. This is a beautiful gloss, but I just don't reach for it. And I have a family member who will use it much more than I will. That's what it looks like. It's a beautiful shade and honestly a really nice formula, but I just don't use it. So I'm gonna move on from that, pass that along. Same thing with this one. This one's the e.l.f. Mocha Twist, the lip plumping gloss. This one is also a very pretty shade, very similar to this one actually. That's what it looks like there. Oh, they actually look very identical to each other. But I just don't reach for it. I have other glosses that I always reach for. This always stays in the back of my drawer. So for that reason, I'm gonna pass it along to a family member who will use it. I'm getting rid of two eyeshadows. Basically, I have one small little palette here. This is the e.l.f. Pumpkin Pie palette. Nothing wrong with this. This is actually a beautiful palette, great from the drugstore, beautiful shades. I think these are like $3 to $4 or something. And this is actually a beautiful palette. Great formula. I highly recommend these. The reason I'm getting rid of this, I just don't reach for it. In all honesty, I just do not reach for it. So for that reason, I'm gonna pass this along to a friend. Same thing with this one. This is the Hourglass Scattered Light Burnish, and it's one of those pressed pigment eyeshadows. Comes with a little stopper in here, and that is the shade. I'll swatch it for you so you can see what it looks like. This is a beautiful shade, actually. Look at that. This is gorgeous on the eyes. The reason I'm moving on from this is not because I don't like it. I actually have another little pressed powder from Hourglass that I have that is so similar to this that I always reach for that one, and I don't need both. So I'm gonna pass this along to a friend as well. And the rest of the items that I'm getting rid of are face products. So the first one I'm getting rid of is, this one is Tarte. I don't entirely know what it's called. It was in that holiday set and it came with 3, and it's those that swivel out like that. They release these for the holidays every year almost. And this one has 3 shades. It has Frosted Frappe, which is this one up top, Sweet Cheeks, which is this one in the center, and then the bottom one is called Sugar and Spice. These are beautiful. If you are medium to deep skin tone, these are gorgeous colors. They look so natural on the face. The reason I'm getting rid of this is just because I don't reach for it. I have so many blushes and I just never reach for this. It's always in the back of my drawer, so I'm gonna pass this along to a family member who will use it. But these are beautiful. I don't know if they sell them separately. Like I said, Tarte releases these for the holiday sets, and it's 3 in each set. So that's where I got this from. If you have this, I hope that you use it because I unfortunately just don't, but it's beautiful. These shades are so gorgeous and I wish I reached for it. So I'm gonna pass it to somebody who will. And then I'm going to pass along to a friend 2 of these face palettes by Jouer Cosmetics. This one is the medium to deep bronzer duo, and this one has just 2 bronzers here. Other shades that are just beautiful. I love them, but I just don't reach for them. I have so many other bronzers I'm always reaching for. I just never reach for this, so I'm gonna pass this to a friend. Same thing with this one. This is the blush duo, and it's called Adore. And this is another one, just beautiful pink shades, but I just don't reach for it. And then finally, I have officially decided to just move on from the Benefit for Scope Earth Angel palette. I use this to travel, but to be honest, I don't get excited to use this at all. It is a great palette. It has the Hula shade, which very popular. I personally I feel like I've outgrown the Hula shade at this point. I just prefer other bronzers that I have. So bronzer, blush, a blush topper basically, but it is a blush as well, and a highlight. This is a great palette. I used it for travel mostly, but that's the only time I ever used it. Other than that, I just don't touch this, and I'm just gonna pass this along to my sister. I think she will use this so much more than I do, so I'm gonna pass this along to her. That's it, guys. These are all the products I am going to be decluttering from my collection. Like I said, I am going through a series on my channel right now where I am just showing you my entire collection. All of the makeup I will be planning to use up in the year of 2024. This is a no-buy year for me when it comes to makeup for the most part. So I do plan to use all of my makeup up. That is the goal. And these are just items that just don't make me excited. They just don't make me happy. I don't want to use them. And so I'm gonna pass them along to people who will. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks. Bye.